Welcome to the Daily History Podcast. In today's episode, the building of the Panama Canal, connecting oceans, we're delving deep into the fascinating story behind one of the world's most monumental engineering achievements. Stay with us as we navigate through the challenges, innovations, and triumphs of the Panama Canal's creation. As the 19th century waned and the 20th century dawned, the world witnessed an unprecedented boom in global trade. The Industrial Revolution had transformed nations, with steamships and railroads shrinking distances and expanding economic possibilities. However, the vast waters of the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans remained a significant barrier, with ships having to undertake the lengthy and treacherous journey around the tip of South America to journey between the East and the West. During this period, the demand for a more expedient maritime route was undeniable. Sea travel from New York to San Francisco could take weeks, sometimes months. This lengthy voyage hampered trade and military movements, making the prospect of a canal through Central America not only tantalizing, but necessary. Such a waterway promised to revolutionize global shipping, cutting transit times, reducing operational costs, and expediting military deployments. The geopolitical landscape of the time further intensified the need for a canal. The Spanish-American War had just concluded at the turn of the century, underscoring the strategic importance of rapid naval deployment. Nations, particularly colonial powers, were deeply invested in protecting their trade routes and in maintaining swift, secure access to their colonies. The idea of the canal had transformed from a commercial venture into a pressing geopolitical imperative, with the world powers of the time, especially the United States and the European nations, eager to assert dominance over this potential shortcut between the seas. Our focus now shifts to a figure of great ambition and vision, Ferdinand de Lesseps, the French diplomat and engineer who successfully completed the Suez Canal. Imagine, if you will, a world before the Panama Canal, when de Lesseps was basking in the glory of his Suez success. His triumph in Egypt marked a new era in maritime travel, connecting the Mediterranean to the Red Sea, and it's what set his sights on the Isthmus of Panama. The idea was to replicate this success, to carve a path between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, literally reshaping global trade routes. There was a palpable sense of excitement as the French embarked on this grand venture in the 1880s. Buoyed by the optimism that technology could conquer nature, the French public fervently supported de Lesseps and his second, even more ambitious undertaking. Initial efforts in Panama were met with similar enthusiasm as was found in Egypt, and investments flowed as freely as the promises of smooth sailing ahead. It was an era brimming with confidence. Progress seemed not just possible, but guaranteed. However, the harsh geographical and health realities of Panama soon became alarmingly clear. The region's dense jungle, unpredictable rivers, and daunting mountains presented obstacles of a scope far beyond those encountered in the Suez Project. Moreover, the tropical diseases that afflicted the workforce, primarily yellow fever and malaria, led to unthinkable loss of life and suffering. Engineering miscalculations, such as underestimating the volume of excavation required and over-relying on existing inappropriate technologies, further exacerbated the difficulties. The dream of a Panamanian canal, so bright in its inception, dimmed under the heavy clouds of adversity. As the unyielding tropical sun bore down upon the Isthmus of Panama, the early 20th century bore witness to a monumental shift in the construction of what would become one of the world's most vital passages, the Panama Canal. The French effort, led by the visionary Ferdinand de Lesseps, had collapsed under the weight of financial ruin, engineering mistakes, and the devastating toll of disease. Their dream of connecting two oceans lay in ruins, succumbing to the inhospitable jungle. It was at this pivotal moment that the United States stepped in, eager to seize the opportunity to reshape global trade and assert its growing influence on the world stage. Spearheading this new chapter were two men whose names would become synonymous with the Panama Canal, John Frank Stevens and George Washington Goethals. Stevens, a seasoned railroad engineer, was first to take the helm in 1905. Under his supervision, infrastructure was greatly improved. He laid down the tracks for a comprehensive railway system, which was instrumental in the movement of dirt and machinery. His focus on the well-being of workers led to the significant reduction of disease and better living conditions in the canal zone. However, it was Stevens's realignment of the canal from a sea-level affair to a lock canal that truly set the stage for success. Following Stevens' resignation in 1907, Goethals, an army engineer and a veteran leader, was appointed as the new chief engineer. Where Stevens had laid the groundwork, Goethals brought an iron will and relentless drive to see the canal to its completion. Displaying extraordinary management skills, Goethals reorganized the workforce into a military-style operation, which brought discipline and efficiency. He often roamed the construction site, listening to workers' concerns and ensuring their solutions were executed swiftly. Under American leadership, the canal project was marked by several new strategies. The use of gargantuan steam-powered cranes, excavators, and floating dredges transformed the landscape. Medical advances, such as the widespread use of mosquito nets and the introduction of quinine, led to a drastic reduction in malaria and yellow fever. One of the most ingenious advancements was the development of the lock system, a series of gates that would raise and lower ships across the canal, a concept that was as simple in theory as it was complex in execution. This, alongside the creation of the Gatun Dam to control the Chagres River, was a game-changer, turning a chaotic environment into a controlled, navigable waterway. The implementation of these strategies forged a path to success, overcoming insurmountable odds and turning a fever-stricken jungle into a triumph of modern engineering. The monumental task of the U.S. involvement in building the Panama Canal was a testament not only to American engineering and determination, but to the spirit of progress that defined an era. As the Panama Canal emerged from the realm of vision to brick-and-mortar reality, it wasn't just the sheer scale of engineering that caught the eye. It was a massive task, made possible by the contributions of tens of thousands of laborers. The workforce was a mosaic of nationalities, but among them, the West Indian workers stood out. Drawn from the Caribbean, primarily from islands like Barbados and Jamaica, these workers became the backbone of the labor force, offering their strength and perseverance to a project far from home. The conditions they faced were far from their tropical paradises. The Canal Zone, a strip of land flanked by sweltering jungle, became their world. Each day, West Indian workers grappled with stifling heat, torrential rains, and the threat of tropical diseases. Malaria and yellow fever did not discriminate. It haunted the lives of all those brave or desperate enough to toil in its grip. Yet amidst these adversities, a unique community spirit thrived, one where the rhythm of daily life was underscored by a collective purpose. Within this enclave, the racial and class divisions of the time were acutely felt. Mostly black West Indian workers were often subject to lower wages and harsher conditions compared to their white counterparts. Despite the shared hardships, tiers of status and privilege carved lines through the community. Still, international politics played a role, as these workers were part of a geopolitical chessboard. The canal was more than a waterway. It was an uproar of political assertion, with countries vying for influence through this thin strip of water. Throughout their arduous journey, the labor force's camaraderie helped withstand the external pressures of race, class, and politics. Each worker's story was a testament to endurance, and their collective effort a cornerstone of the Panama Canal's legacy. The diversity in the canal zone was more than just a footnote. It was an essential piece of the historical puzzle, bringing together a multitude of voices in a shared chapter of human achievement. The task of conquering the rugged Isthmus of Panama was a colossal engineering undertaking. One of the innovative construction methods employed by the Americans, who had taken over from the French, was the use of gigantic steam shovels. These mechanical behemoths, aptly named for their Herculean strength, were a departure from the more traditional manual excavation techniques of the era. Complementing the steam shovels were extensive railroad networks that crisscrossed the construction site. These were pivotal in removing the millions of cubic yards of excavated material. The rails were continuously moved and adjusted to follow the digging's progression, a logistical marvel that allowed for the efficient disposal of debris and kept the project advancing at an impressive pace. As the canal began to take shape, a system of locks, some of the largest concrete structures of the time, were envisioned to raise and lower ships through the canal. The lock gates, towering at 7 stories high and weighing in at 700 tons each, were unprecedented in scale. Yet, for all the mastery over mechanics, the natural and human elements posed severe challenges. The Continental Divide, a mountainous spine running through the isthmus, represented a formidable barrier. The daunting Culebra Cut, an excavation through rock and earth, was one of the toughest sections of the canal to complete. Additionally, the torrential rains and soft volcanic soil of the region often led to landslides, which quickly filled in areas that had just been dug out, frustrating the work progress. Despite these challenges, another silent adversary was the spread of disease. Malaria and yellow fever ferociously claimed the lives of many workers. It wasn't until Colonel William C. Gorgas implemented comprehensive sanitation strategies, including the drainage of stagnant waters and extensive fumigation, that the battle against these diseases began to turn. His efforts drastically reduced worker mortality and became a seminal moment in the project. The completion of the Panama Canal stands as a testament to human resilience and engineering ingenuity. Through every setback and against all odds, the canal was a triumph of vision and determination, reshaping global navigation and commerce in ways that continue to reverberate through modern history. The Panama Canal officially opened on August 15, 1914, a testimony to a dream that had captivated the minds of visionaries for many decades. As ships traversed from the Atlantic to the Pacific in a matter of hours rather than weeks, the world watched in amazement at the culmination of a project that had seemed almost beyond the bounds of possibility. The canal's influence on global trade was immediate and profound. With the reduction in travel time, goods could move more efficiently between continents, reshaping the patterns of trade. The creation of this maritime shortcut allowed for quicker and cheaper transportation of resources, significantly boosting economies and solidifying the canal's role as a cornerstone of international commerce. From a military perspective, the canal proved just as revolutionary. It provided navies with the strategic advantage of rapid redeployment, altering military strategy and power dynamics, especially influential during the World Wars. The ability to move fleets between oceans without the lengthy detour around South America was a game-changer for naval operations, consolidating the United States' prowess as a global sea power. Today, the Panama Canal stands as an enduring symbol of human ingenuity and determination, overcoming not just the formidable landscape, but also the challenges of disease and political hurdles. Recognizing its value, modern efforts to expand the canal have ensured that it continues to be an essential artery in the world's trade and logistics framework. Its legacy is not just in its physical structure, but in the spirit of innovation and collaboration it continues to inspire, proving that even the most audacious dreams can become reality when met with relentless perseverance and collective effort. We've journeyed together through the incredible saga of the Panama Canal, a journey spanning history, geography, and immense human endeavor. From the late 19th century, where we pictured the world's urgent need for a maritime shortcut between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, to the stirring accounts of the West Indian workers and their stories of survival within the canal zone. We recalled the undaunted ambition of Ferdinand de Lesseps and the French vision that faced the harsh Panama environment and ultimately failure. A story of a dream that slipped away amidst engineering miscalculations and the perilous clutches of disease. Then, we witnessed the United States' emergence in this historical narrative, bringing with it leaders like John Frank Stevens and George Washington Goethals and their indomitable spirits. They reinvigorated the canal project with visionary leadership and innovative strategies. The narrative continued with awe as we delved into the astounding engineering feats, the force of human will overcoming geographical and logistical nightmares, as well as acknowledging the pangs of setbacks like landslides and further diseases that continued to test the resolve of those involved. Our reflection on the Panama Canal would be incomplete without recognizing its towering legacy, its ripple effect on global trade, its pivotal role in military strategy, and its standing in the world as a monolith of human ingenuity and determination. Completed in 1914, the canal not only reshaped commerce, but also the course of history, creating a bridge between seas and nations that stands to this day. In closing, the Panama Canal's story is a testament to the universal spirit of perseverance, innovation, and collaboration. It is a narrative that transcends borders and eras, reminding us of our shared capacity to transform the world. A monument not just carved into the earth, but etched into the annals of human progress, inspiring generations to come. Thank you for joining us on the Daily History Podcast. If you enjoyed unraveling the story of the Panama Canal, please subscribe and leave your feedback in the comments below. Propose topics for future episodes, and the suggestion with the most likes will be considered for our next adventure into the past. Your engagement is what brings these stories to life. Until next time.